Everybody, we said it was gonna happen. It's here. We got the man himself, Brett Glasgow, aka Composure. Listen, I don't think you'll understand. The guy with the money sign as an S. The guy who released the college anthem, and I still love that song. We'll get into that also because I have a question about that. The guy who has been holding down Westchester on the rap scene, the guy I've been friends with for a very long time, Brett. How are you doing? Say what's up to the people. Let them know what's going on right now.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to get the chance to be on the show with you guys. It's been a long time coming, like you were talking about, man. I really was excited about it, so I'm really hyped. My name's Brett Glasgow. I go by Composure, as my man just mentioned. I'm an artist out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. I'm 25 years old, and honestly, music is my life, and I make it every part of my life. And I put everything I can into it, and I honestly try to fit it around my work schedule, everything, you know what I'm saying? You guys know the grind, so
hey, man.
We're working.
Oh, yeah, man, no doubt.
We're happy to have you, and once again, if you guys don't know, for the new listeners, maybe you just tuned in for Brett, hopefully you can tag along with us on this journey for our podcast, but my co-host, Michael Hart, he was also a musician. He still is. I'm not going to say was. He could probably still hop on and sing some stuff. He was a part of a band called Gladiators. Amazing music, so we also have him on here, so he has a lot of background in that, so he can also relate to Brett on some things also, or maybe help him out in some type of way, who knows. But yeah, so we're excited to have you here, Brett. I did see you on Instagram in the studio not too long ago, so is something new coming before we get into our life talk or anything? Is something new? You want to tease something?
Yes, it's I got a few different things in the vault that will be coming out very, very soon. Got some collabs and some really good artists, so I'm excited.
All right. Now,
Any visual, like music videos coming out or anything like that?
Oh yes. Big plans.
Yeah? Very cool. Yeah, man. I mean, so David Graves, I call him Graves, whichever. He's been telling me a little bit about you. You know, the fact that you're from Westchester. You went to Westchester University, I believe.
Yep.
I actually did as well. But I graduated back in 2013. I'm an old head over here. I'm 30 years old. But regardless, so he mentioned that you came from that same area. You were born and raised in the area. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe if I heard it on one of your tracks, you grew up on Matlack Street. Is that correct? Or around the area of Matlack?
My neighborhood is like just off of Matlack, but it's Matlack straight the way across, right on the other side of the 202.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Very nice, man. I mean, like I grew up all around. I mean, not grew up, but I grew up a little bit out of the way. But yeah, Westchester, man. Like as soon as I knew you were a Westchester, area artist, I was super stoked. Being in music or having been music in myself, it's super cool to see more music of all types coming out of Westchester. My local haunt was Jake's Bar. Was there quite often. Nothing wrong with going there, slinging back a couple pitchers. Just having a good time. Nothing brings it back as like a memory from Jake's. But yeah, dude, like talk to us a little bit, man. Like what was like your Westchester experience like? Like what? Like because obviously you wrote that song like this college anthem about like you want to live this college life forever. But it's a banger, man. It's good. Like I listened to a lot of your tracks today. Would love to kind of hear like the come up, like what fueled a lot of your music.
Well, first off, thank you. I do appreciate that. I haven't listened to Graduation in a while, but that is definitely a throwback. It brings back memories. My Westchester experience, I grew up, like I said, on the other side of 202, so access to like actual town, the borough, I really didn't have a whole lot of that growing up. So by the time I got to high school and I was really starting to go out and like meet people in town, start to actually kind of really get what Westchester is about and really start to feel like that culture that's there. Like I said, I went to Westchester University and that shit was a movie. It's that simple.
Listen, Brett, I'm not going to let you skate past this though. I need you to give the people the story on how we met. I need you to give the people that story. Mike was sitting there like, yo, I saw a picture of you and Brett. You were wearing like a Neff shirt. There's a reason behind that, Mike. Brett, I'm going to need you to tell them, man.
Let's go.
Crazy throwback. So it's honestly the most random shit ever. So you guys remember like jerking and all that stuff, like New Boys, all that cool shit. So we were basically all really into dancing and stuff at the time. And then it was basically David and his cousin Chris. They were doing their own thing. But like I said, I wasn't really in town, so I didn't know them at all. And I was doing my own thing with one of my homies in my neighborhood. And we're, doing our thing. And then at some point, Dave just reaches out to me. I don't know how he heard of me. Something happened. So he came across a video, something. And he reached out to me. He was like, yo, we're trying to do a little cruise situation. Let's link. And that was it. It was the first link was cool. We did a video. It was dope. And then after that, we hung out all the time, and they became my closest friends. So
yeah, it was
a good experience.
Thinking it back, it's a funny time. We really thought we were doing something with our jerking and dancing, and during that time with skinny jeans and Neff shirts. Especially if people didn't know, I tried to rap. Let's bring it out there. Let's pull out the laundry. I tried to rap. Didn't go too well. I will say I was horrorcore before horrorcore was maybe that mainstream. But
dark.
The one thing I was gonna say before we move on to anything else, I was telling Mike the story about we used to rap a lot in Brett's basement, so we would just be flying stuff off, and I remember one day, I don't know if Brett still remembers this, me, Brett, and Chris, and we're sitting in his living room. And we're not arguing, but we're all going back and forth. And Chris wants to quit. Chris wants to quit dancing. He wants to quit rapping and everything else like that. I'm on the cusp of I don't think I can do this. There's no way I can do this. I hate reading. First of all, I can only dance, and I can only dance with getting the rhythm. And Brett's like, I'm going to keep going. And I remember I told Brett, and he proved me wrong. And I hope this is still pushing him. I said, yo, we ain't going to make nothing of this. And I said, I'm not going to be nothing in rap. You're not going to be nothing in rap. Chris ain't going to be nothing in rap. Now, I remember the look Brett gave me. Okay, that's what you think. And here he is now. He's dropping albums. He's doing his thing. And hopefully that fueled him. And there was never going to be an apology for it because I was like, you know what? That probably kept Brett going and what he had to do. So, Brett, I don't know if you remember that, but I remember that since you brought out your first song, your first album. And I'm like, yo, he really did it. He did something. I was proud of him. So, crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff.
Yo, that's absolutely awesome, man. So does that original tape, that video, does that exist?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them, so I'm not sure. Some of them might still be on YouTube, but a lot of the throwbacks, I have them. So, if you ever want to just, I'll show them.
I gotta see him. I gotta see what David's got. I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
150 pounds lighter and just wearing odd clothing. That was my
Hey, man. But at the time, you thought you were fly. At the time, you were like, "Yo, this is it. This is the thing. This is exactly the fit."
Dear God,
yeah,
we're not. Listen, guys, that was an interesting time in our life, but
No, but I mean, I think it tells a really great story, right? Because especially what you just said, there was that conversation. It's like, "Yo, we're not actually going anywhere." And all it took was one of you. And then that one of you was Brett, I guess, who's like, you know what? This is something I'm so passionate about. Whether anyone's going to do it doesn't matter. And I think there's something so powerful in that. And something that I've always kind of told myself and a lot of other people, it's like, just because you have a dream, it doesn't have to be anyone else's. And sometimes we look for validation in other people being like, yo, I want you to believe in my dream so that I can live that dream. When in fact, that's not how it works at all. You decided to dream big. You decided yo, if I'm going to fall, I might as well fall big because I'm going to go as far as I can. And, you've clearly taken that and ran with it. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I'm a lyricist myself. I was the vocalist of my band. And so I spent the day going through your catalog, really trying to understand your journey, right? Because because there's always that beginning of a career when you're writing and you're pulling from things that are part of your life, things that happen to you, things that you've experienced, versus things that you want to write because it's gonna smash and it's gonna be just a good song, And there's a really nice mix between that. Now I don't know if this is a compliment or whatever, but I really hear a lot of logic in your writing style, specifically on the newer stuff. And I don't know how you feel towards Logic, but I don't know. I like the way specifically your most recent Juice was excellent, and Apocalypse 2. You have some really excellent wordplay written down in that I was just vibing on a lot today. I don't know, dude. Really, really impressed, and I'm stoked that we have a connection with you because obviously Graves knows you from a while back. I'm stoked that we were able to use your music with the podcast. Forever promoting. composure out there. Don't forget, everybody, it's that the S is the money sign. Show some respect to this kid and just give him some love. I'm telling you right now, because like honestly, I listen to your music, and having been a signed musician, like had a record deal and all that stuff myself. Like you have it, dude. You just gotta. What you need is someone that's like a producer or something. I think your producer's great. The music that you crank out he cranks out is incredible. But you need someone that's gonna write stuff for you or give you that same drive that you have, right? You gotta match that level. And I think you got it, dude. Like I don't know, like. I don't know if there's anyone I know that I could assist, but maybe I do. We'll talk at the break. But
we'll see, man. That's what this podcast is kind of helping. Broaden the horizon. We got a lot of different people from UK.
I would love to help anyone from any area that I lived in, grew up in, came up from, help succeed. I'm all about that stuff.
I guess the next question would be: do you think like you yourself would be here right now? Because I know we had this conversation before, as far as like our friend group. Our friend group's older now, so we don't always hang out as close as we used to. But I remember I was talking to my friend Marquise. He's like, I never thought we'd be here with a certain creative space because he's starting a podcast. He's doing all this stuff. And I was like, Keith, if you realize we were all creative from the jump, it was just all about taking that first step. And a lot of people didn't take that first step. But do you think you would have saw yourself here now? You're pretty successful at rapping. You got all this stuff. You got a girlfriend. You moved in with her. You're doing all that. But do you think you saw yourself being in this position?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Quarantine, Corona hit. Mm-hmm. I was down bad. I really didn't know if like music or anything. I was all over the place at that point. It definitely put me in like a different space, and from that I took a lot of lessons. And honestly, I think the drive that time period gave me has kind of given me something new, something I didn't have before. Like juice that came from that time in quarantine. That was what that was. You know what I mean? So I dropped that, and like that was crazy. I mean, that was during a really bad time. So imagine what I can do with a year of good, good times, being able to get out and actually go see people, go do things. Like eventually everything will be able to, it'll be the way it was before. So, or at least close to it, close enough. And I think that plays a big role in how, what's going to assist me getting out of this, this position.
Yeah. I guess the next question also would be, what was your creative process on Juice? Like what took you, because I know we were talking since you were recording your first couple songs, you had me make the album cover. So I know we were going back and forth. We were getting the vibes. I was like, you like this? Nah, all right, I don't know. And I was like, you know what? You keep doing you. I'm going to do me, and it's going to hit. So what was your creative process going through that album?
Honestly, and we had talked about this before. A lot of the music, honestly, at least 4 songs were made. Honestly, some of them years prior. I'd had a lot of stuff that I hadn't released, and I was like, I don't know why I haven't released these. They're good. I don't know why I didn't do anything with them. And then honestly, like I said, when I got that time to actually sit down and really just think to myself and really put what was happening to me into words and really focus on it, I was able to come out with the rest of the tracks. And I mean, Stain, as soon as I got Stain, I was like, damn, like this project, we need to keep moving with this. And I consulted with Dave, I consulted with Keith, I consulted with everyone in our friend group and outside of that, with like sending stuff out, samples here. What do you guys think about this? So I honestly could say the success of Juice was definitely a team effort, 100%. That was not just me. I got a lot of feedback from a lot of people, and that honestly, I feel like that's the best way to move forward. And I'm happy I have a lot of these people in my circle. So
that's awesome.
Amazing album. I still say it was an amazing album. So
it's 15 tracks. Like that is a whole like epic in itself, man. That is. Like, I don't know if that's common, like typically in rap, but like 15 tracks, that is, you can tell there's heart and soul in that. And you can tell there's stuff in there that you were holding on to, and you're like, you know what? It's not worth trying to do something else. It's all going to be a part of Juice. And it just turned out right, man. Like,
thank you.
I support that. Like, I think artists shouldn't be afraid of breaking the mold of like the 5-song EP or like the 10-song album. Like, yeah, why not give them 15? Like, You know what I mean? Like, cause at the end of the day, the music lives forever, right? And the music is what builds the career, builds the brand, and then you build it around yourself. And specifically in the stages that you are, where you're still like on that up and coming grind and getting your name out there, getting more notoriety. I think giving more is better, because in a way it's like, sure, like you're giving an opportunity for multiple different audiences to get to know you, because not all of your track. What I like a lot is specifically, this is a shout out to your producer, is the music sounds on brand, all the tracks, but it's the composition within the music, the types of instruments being sampled, the kind of the beats, the tempo, is it more major key, is it minor key? Like there's things that are going on that your producer is doing that I think is absolutely genius. And if he doesn't know it already, he should pat himself on the back, because he's definitely doing something really, really excellent. And it's like that idea of capturing lightning in a bottle, man. Like it really, you got it, man. And I'm so pumped to just to hear more, to experience more of composure as you continue to progress.
Yeah. And I was also gonna say, if people didn't know, while Brett was at Westchester, he was on the soccer team. Now that kind of leads into a lot of that college song that we were talking about, where it was some crazy nights. I'm not gonna lie, we were in the college, the soccer team basement. We were at the soccer house. A lot of fights, a lot of loving, a lot of arguments, a lot of crazy stuff. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Fun times, hilarious times that I would definitely tell my kids. And I was gonna say, anything that has to do with like your, if you think back to you on the field, it's you on the field, it's you versus the other team with your teammates. Do you think that kind of pays some aspects into your music? Like, do you kind of bring that competition style into your music at all?
I mean, I don't know if it necessarily is in the music, but it's definitely, like I said, in that drive. I mean, I'm an athlete, so like competition, I already know. Like I can release Juice, and then there could be somebody on the other side of the country that's gonna release something equally as good as Juice or better. And you know what I mean? We're all competing for the ears. So it's all really, it comes down to competition. That's what this is. It's a competition game, and it's either like you either swim or you sink. So I'm trying to swim. I'm over here. I'm doing my doggy paddle right now, but I'm about to start really doing my Michael Phelps soon.
Dude, I love that.
Listen, if you're not doing the Michael Phelps, you're almost there. I know there's a lot of stuff coming up. Me and Brett have a lot of conversations. Listen, I'm ready to direct a music video. I think once I get that for you, bang, we're in there. We got it, because I know what you need. You know what I can do. We got it, man. I think we can do it. But other than that, with a lot of things going on with you, and right now, would you say you're in a better state making your music right now? So, like, will the next project be something completely different than what you've made prior? Because, like you said, we're in a pandemic, but we're kind of moving forward, and we're getting, we're feeling a little better about ourselves and more comfortable in the situation we are in.
No, yeah, I definitely would say it's gonna be different. I hope for it to be a little bit more consistently upbeat throughout the whole entire thing. I really want it to be something where it's like people are listening. I want to drop it this summer, by the way, and I want a lot of people to just really be like, look, we just had a really, really, really shit like past 12 months, and we're starting, like you said, we're starting to move forward. Let's move forward on the right foot. Like, why are we, why focus on the past? It happened. Everyone learns from it. We all have learned from it. We've all learned different things from it, and let's take those things and let's this is a second chance. Let's go ahead and get after it. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what could have happened? The corona could have been way worse. So, we're coming out of it. We got a second chance to really do whatever it is that you wanted to do beforehand. Go ahead and make it happen now.
I mean, think about it this way, right? Just that's a last little note before we hit the first ad break here. But think about it this way, right? Like this, like in terms of the music industry, no matter if you're in the rap game, if you're in like rock or wherever else you exist in the music industry right now, the past year has been the first time in recorded history, in modern music history, where music literally had to take a back seat for 12 months. Like there was no more live shows. There was no more like going to studios unless it was like super like locked down and like everything was good, or people were started recording remotely, or just a lot more time to reflect and like really think about the game plan, right? Because everyone had to stop. Oh, yeah. So like I think that there's something so powerful that yes, it was terrible, but there's something very powerful when looking at the positivity of how much like brainstorming, like an incubation kind of happened over this past 12 months that maybe for you is going to fuel a whole new drive moving into as everything starts to open up again and everything starts coming back. So I think there's something so special about like your career as it sits currently, as you are literally on the launch pad, ready to just become a known name. Like it really, I think it's possible, and I think you're going to come up with a whole class of other artists from all over the country, kind of like what you're saying, that are going to be experiencing this exact same thing. And it's going to be so interesting to see how the industry kind of just builds around that. I don't know, like it's a super cool time. Actually, like although it's terrible, it's a super cool time creatively to be able to be producing music. I think.
Most definitely.
No, I agree.
Guys, man, well, you got to know him, Composure, Brett himself. We wanted to get to know Brett first before we hop into a lot more music questions. Mike will probably be steering the ship as far as it goes in this next segment. But before we get to that, we got something special for you. Brett gave us some unreleased stuff, so we're going to play that a little bit before the ad break. We won't be with you. You're going to be listening to it alone, but we'll come back in and we'll talk a little bit about it. But hang in there. Once again, we got Brett, a.k.a. Composure. The money sign is an S. Don't forget it. And he's here. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Only the real gon' feel me. I'm high like the ceiling. Up and away. Roll up though for the feeling. You can't interfere. Bitch, I am here. You know that I got it. Big comp in the building. No selling my soul. Bitch, I'm big bro. They wanted so much, so I had to make more. I love all the people that come to my shows. Could die any day and you never would know. That's why I keep Benjamin Franks in my pocket. If the kid wanted, I gotta go cop it. I got the crown and I'm never gon' drop it. Send me that Addy, I'm there with a rocket. 50 a show, bitch, you couldn't compete. I live what I talk, bitch, I talk what I preach. And if you I'll kick you dead in your teeth. Watch what you say when you speaking to me, cause you know what I do. I'm in the booth, spitting that shit that'll caught me a coupe. I'm in my groove, I do my dance on the bitch. You know I be hitting the moves. I know that they love me, I'm feeling that pressure. I give her that dick, put her right on the stretcher. I'm doing it better and better and better. I'm putting my thumb in the A like the letter. The real gon' feel me, I'm high like the ceiling. Up and away, roll up though for the feeling. You can't interfere, bitch, I am here. You know that I got a big comp in the building. No selling my soul, bitch, I'm big bro. They wanted so much, so I had to make more. I love all the people that come to my shows. Could die any day and you never would know. Yeah, they know I be snapping. Think I'm a fly, bitch, why you be capping? Making some money, we call that shit trapping. You wasn't there when we had to go bag it. Left the crib, but I wanna get back and I wanna put my fucking town on the map. You can't tell me shit once I say it, it's facts. Been through it before, so I follow my path. Get to the money, I'm stepping shit up, you not taking this from me. I come from a place where it's muddy, I got it alone, now I'm doing so lovely. Yeah, now that I'm up, they want on my paper, I'm keeping it tucked. They showing me love, I love all my fans, bitch, they knew what it was. Only the real gon' feel me, I'm high like the ceiling. Up and away, roll up though for the feeling. You can't interfere, bitch, I am here. You know that I got a big comp in the building. No selling my soul, bitch, I'm big bro. They wanted so much, so I had to make more. I love all the people that come to my shows. Could die any day and you never would know.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We have Brett Glasgow with us, Composure, here chatting with us this week. And at this part of the show, we want to really get to know Brett's kind of creative process. We want to get inside his brain a little bit about really what fuels the music and like what his process is like. So like kind of like out of the gate, man. Like when you were young and coming up, like who was the artist that maybe gave you that inspiration, that gave you that idea, like that said, yo, I could do this? Like, who would you say influenced you in that way?
Oh man, in that way, I guess, I mean, at that point, I think the first time I realized, like, well, damn, like anybody, like we could just do this was like probably around the time I was hanging out with Dave and them, and we were like seeing other people's like crews across the country. Like they would just start dropping like random songs, just messing around. But then they would wind up getting like viral before viral was like a thing. And like all of a sudden, like now we're sitting here dancing to a music video, like to music in our videos of some crew across the country that are the same age as we are. And everyone else in the country is doing it too. And I'm like, all right, well, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why aren't we doing that? So that's, I think, and I've said it to them, and then we just started trying to like really push that. So
That's awesome. So mostly it was like unsigned. It wasn't big names. It was just it was just the culture. Like maybe it was on SoundCloud or wherever you were finding the music.
Because you'll see them like make a track and then it's like, all right, cool. But then all of a sudden, like it blows up, and then all of a sudden you're seeing them all over the place. I'm like, that kid was just doing the same thing we were doing, just bullshitting and not, you know what I mean, with no real structure to it. But he just came up, so why can't we come up? It wasn't ever like a big artist, because I mean, some of them just kind of come up off of, I mean, who knows, a lot of random stuff.
Right place, right time.
Kids, it's just you know what I mean. So I mean, it was definitely just watching them and seeing like, I mean, if you could just make something pop one time, you might have this shot right there.
Oh, for sure. Awesome. Speaking of that, like when it comes to you like writing a song or getting like your lyrics or your head's in the right space for writing a track, what usually comes first for you? Are you just like a kind of guy who's like always writing, and do you just have books and books and books of written verses, or do you need to hear like the track first to get like a feel of what you need to write about?
I guess, I mean, it really depends. I mean, a lot of actually a couple of the songs that were going to be released following the one I just played, those were just, I was just out on the balcony and then I just kind of started writing with nothing. But like most of the time I'll listen to a beat first, or I'll just go through somebody's catalog and just listen to a bunch of beats. And a lot of the times I just wait till something kind of, all right, now I'm rocking with it. And then all of a sudden I'm trying to like, formulate some words. I'm just kind of mumbling to myself. And then if I can get a couple words that really like line up, I'm like, all right, well, can I make like a saying or something like that's going to stand out? And then I'll go off that. And then maybe I'll come up with a chorus. And then if I get the chorus, the track's done. The track's over.
Yeah, if you can get that hook.
Which is very true. I've been there through some of that process, and I've seen, because especially with me and Brett, like we're kind of from the same thing with artists and stuff like that. So Brett has invited me over. I've literally sat on his bed, had my laptop out. I'm designing. He's writing everything. It's a cool creative process. So
that's awesome.
I think you definitely got it going on there, because I've seen it. We've gone through numerous of YouTube beats. Brett says, do I want to buy this one? It's like 35. I'm like, I don't know. So it's a funny time, but
for sure. So here's maybe a little of a harder question, but like, so you're 25 right now, right? So but your catalog is already insane. Like the amount of music you've produced and created and written and worked on is, I was a signed musician and I only ever had two full length records, 20 songs max. So you're already over the top in terms of production, in terms of music that you've actually written and produced and all that stuff. And I would love to know, like, so knowing what you've done, right, in the last 5 years, because a lot of what that is probably the last 5 years, right? Like most of it. And so knowing what you accomplished in the last 5 years, what's your 5-year plan, man? Like where do you, if you could like, throw a dart at the wall and nail exactly where you wanted to be, what would the next 5 years look like for you?
So I'm hoping, like I said, because of Corona, I'm hoping to pick up back where I was leaving off. I mean, Juice was supposed to drop, and then we were supposed to have just all types of time to do shows and everything else. That just didn't happen. So this next project I want to drop in, I'm expecting to do a lot of shows, and I mean in a sense where it's like not even about if I can be like if I'm even getting an opening act, if I'm getting anything, it doesn't even matter. I'm trying to just go. You know what I mean? I'm going to start really kind of putting myself in the mix more so than anything. Because like you said, like I do have a lot of music release at this point. And it's not like that's not doing a good job. But at the same time, that's not the same as me just being around. Oh, I ran into somebody. Oh, now we're at the studio. Oh, now a track came out. You know what I mean? So I think that's one thing that I need to do that people have done in the past. And I think that's the difference maker. You'd be like, oh, this kid he didn't go to college and he's off doing whatever he's doing. Like he's hanging out with this group, but little does like whoever's talking about him know the group he's hanging out with is setting up huge shows. Now all of a sudden this kid is on TV on Rolling Loud. And you're like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like he was actually on the low making his own come up. You know what I mean? He's hanging out trying to put himself around the right people. Right.
No doubt. I mean, like, do you have like a dream to become like get a record deal, or do you want to kind of like own your own, like maintain ownership of your music inevitably?
I think I'd like to do, a lot of people say I'm stupid for it, but I think I'd like to do the record deal route more or less because I think I understand more what it's about. Sure. I already know when you get a record deal, you're already in debt. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand what that money is given to you for.
Yep.
So I feel like when you get that, I mean, and you can look at a lot of like people that are big names now that did get record deals, and yeah, the reason they're even bigger is because they did what they were supposed to do with it. You know what I mean? They used a portion, made a really dope album. Used another portion to get all the visuals done. Did another dope portion to kind of try and push marketing. Let's do this. Let's link up with Reebok. Let's link up with this. Because I mean, you're giving a really substantial amount of money sometimes. So
sure, no doubt.
At least enough to do something. So I always feel like, I mean, I think that's the route I'd rather go.
Yeah,
I think it opens up the options that I'd like to really like have access to.
Most definitely.
Oh, dude, for sure. I mean, like when my band got signed to CI Records, they're a record label out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we signed a deal that was strictly distribution, and so because we decided that we didn't want their management, we didn't want to give them like merch sales, we didn't want to do any of that. We just we needed somebody that was going to help network us, help us reach places we couldn't reach directly, and have someone that could publicly print and or release our music globally. I'll be honest with you, we got raked over the coals and we made no money. Like all of our money that we made was only from playing shows. We toured a lot of most major cities, East Coast, Midwest. We did at least 2-3 big tours and stuff like that. And a lot of that was because of influence from the record label. Like when you hit up a club and you're trying to be like, yo, we're looking to book a show in March on this day or around this area. Do you have a spot available for this band or whatever? It always helped to say, oh, and they're a signed band. Because it added kind of that level of just notoriety. Like, oh, that maybe they'll pull. Maybe people will want to come see a signed show. And whereas that was sometimes true, that was sometimes not the case. And sometimes you'd show up and they'd be like, yo, we're so hyped to have you, but there's nobody here. And it's like, well, hey, you're still paying us. So like, all right. But yeah, I mean, like, do I think after having 2 full record deals with this company, do I think it was the make or break? I don't think so. I think there's a lot that we could have done if we were willing to do it slower. Mm-hmm. A lot of what we did, since we sacrificed a lot of what they like their full package, we were out of pocket for a lot of it. So like we funded a lot of our first stuff to try to own more of it essentially, and owe the record label less, because most record labels they give you that main push of money, mm-hmm. and that money you owe them back. And then you don't really make any more money until it's all paid back. And then they put you on like a split deal. You know, if you're lucky, you'll see like a 70-30 split. Yeah. Most low level record deals is like 80-20, and if anything below 20 is just straight up predatory. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're just never going to make any of your money. And so, yeah, I mean, like there's a lot that you can do, at least from the perspective of what you can get ready to then bring to the table, right? Like you could finalize like a clothing line that was like Composure clothing. I don't know if you've got stuff already or if you've thought about it, but I mean, our boy Graves over here, I'm sure he could help you out if you needed it. But yeah, build the brand, right? Like have something more than just the music to show off. I think would be the best avenue in this moment of kind of like, well, what's going on? Like, what do we do, right?
Yeah.
But that's super awesome, man. I think there's a lot to say.
I will say I do have a question, Brett. We're going to dig a little deeper. I haven't heard you mention this in a while, but I did want to say you were a part of a rap group and or a collective. If we remember it as Hack Squad, if I remember. Yes. I just wanted to ask, like, are you still a part of them? Are you still talking to them? Are you still extremely involved with them? Or like, you know, are you still kind of doing your own thing with what's going on with them?
Well, no, we all definitely are all still in connection. We had one guy who he decided that music wasn't the route he wanted to go. Mm-hmm. But he still messes around with it. You ask him to get on the track, he'll get on. Like, mm-hmm. No questions asked. The other two, I know T-Rob and Lil K are down in Florida, and they're doing their thing. T-Rob's released a lot of stuff, honestly. And Lil K's finally starting to release some stuff like real consistently. Mm-hmm. And it's gas. It's heat. They're dropping heat down there. I'm definitely really proud of them. Brell's still local. I think he's still in PA, and he's still doing his thing too. He actually got on a track on Lil K's most recent album, which is that's on SoundCloud. His stuff's. I listened to the track. It's really, really good.
All right.
They're doing their thing.
I guess to also follow with that, like they're not saying when you can release stuff whenever. So you're free to release your singles, your albums, and okay, just double check.
So with that collective, it wasn't like a label where it was like any one person had control of anyone's releases. We honestly were just like a collective of just artists that wanted to get on, and we figured that working together would be cheaper and more economical getting stuff released, which it was. I mean, we still work through the same system with getting our stuff released, and it's been pretty successful. Everybody does their part, chips in, and I mean, I've looked at some of our what am I talking about, the money coming in, and everybody's doing their work. They're really pushing their music, and it's good to see. It's good to see everybody's really active. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I guess the next question I would say, and I'm proud of you, and it's funny because we always talk about this. You're like, Dave, I'm trying to get like you. I want to be like you out here. Now that you got a girlfriend, man, do you think your way of making music, the stuff you rap about, how you go about things as far as music wise has changed now that you're in a committed relationship? Do you feel yourself making more, lovey songs, more R&B songs, or do you think you still making that, I'm in the club, I'm popping the bottles type stuff? Let me hear the transition and what you're dealing with now, if you've realized it, because I've definitely realized it in your music. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
It might have definitely not as extra as it used to be, but it's definitely still pop bottles. What you mean? We gonna just be in there? We can't do nothing, but we'll be in there. What you mean? That changes nothing. We still popping bottles.
Hey, I'm just asking. I've seen the creative process change with people in relationships. I've seen you have done a lot more. Lovey songs, which there's nothing wrong with it because I enjoy it. I'm in a relationship, so some things like that, it pulls memories, it pulls feelings, it pulls thoughts. So I just wanted to see if you've seen it, because me and Mike were talking about this before you came in. He said, "Yo, his music it's broken up. We can tell when it's broken up for you." And since Mike has the ear, he's kind of saying I can see when Brett is really into this one, and he's into this one, but he's really really into this one. I'm like, yeah, he really enjoys the ones that he makes. The party ones are the party ones. It is what it is. You always got to make them.
I think what's super cool about your whole catalog is kind of like what David's saying is I have the sense of knowing when you're writing a song that's in line to be a banger, something that's just meant to party out to, something that you're gonna say some reckless stuff in the track just because it sounds incredible, versus something like Bleeding in Me or something where it's you are pouring a little bit of your heart on that page, and you're giving away a little bit of kind of where you came from, what you've gone through, or what you were going through when you wrote that, and there's it's crazy cool because it's you have these multiple alter egos within composure, and it makes you such a well-rounded artist in a way, because you totally can give that hype song, that song you just want to put on when you want it, when you just got a fresh bottle or something, it's a Friday night, versus a song that's I kind of just want to burn one, just listen to this one, you know what I mean? I just kind of vibe on this one. Vengeance is crazy good. There, you can tell when you got some skin in the track that you're writing on, in that stuff. I don't know if that's hard to write about, or if that or what that process is like for you, but I'm telling you, that's the money. When you can write things that really make someone feel something, or be oh shit, this guy actually wrote down exactly what I'm going through, and this makes sense to me, or I can relate to that. Because everyone can relate to a party song, man. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So what to take us through a little bit of the difference in where your headspace is at, because obviously songs from like Stain versus Bleeding in Me, those were two different kind of eras of your music, but they kind of embody two different, almost like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in a way, these kind of two little sides of you, and so would love to know kind of a little bit about that creative process in terms of making one versus the other.
Honestly, it's it's exactly like you said. It's literally just where I'm at the time. Bleeding in Me, that's just where I was at the time. You know what I mean? And I wrote that I think so. J High Fly the Realist. That's my producer. He made that beat. I think had to have been like almost 2 or 3 months prior to me writing anything to it. I listened to it, had it for a while. He almost gave it to someone else. They didn't like it, so he kept it. I was like, yo, you should have that beat. He sent it to me. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, just up late for no reason, in my own bullshit. TV's not even on, just sitting in there, just on some dumb shit. Like, and I was like, you know what? Let me listen to this beat. So I started running it a couple times in the headphones. I'm like, damn. So I just started writing, and it started coming out. Like, it started coming along like real quickly. And I was like, damn, well, this is what we got. And then, I mean, there's other tracks that are like that.
Mental's nuts. Like that. Like the beat on that, plus like just the flow that you throw in there and the subject matter. Like that one, like when I was listening to I think that's on Apocalypse 2, or something like that one. Like that one, like hit me. I was like, "Whoa!" Like, all right, he's got my attention on this track. I don't know, because like I can relate, man. Like I've written some songs that like I have trouble listening to at this point, like because of how like real they get sometimes.
Yeah.
And versus songs that I wrote because like, yo, this is just gonna be a great song. Like this is just gonna be a good one. The chorus slaps. Like let's go. You know, so that's awesome, man. Like I love hearing that side of like the emotional part of the music, because essentially it's an expression of yourself, and it's a really great way to express it.
I will say, I hope like we can lock John in the room one day, and we can just get him to like, if you guys seriously sat down and John just made 20 beats, or if he had 20 beats and you could write to the 20 beats and make that album, I think that's also an album that would be a staple in your catalog, because Juice is there. The Apocalypse series is also going to be there, because Apocalypse, I feel like that's that's the grounded ones. You know what I mean? Like that's the ones where you're speaking real. When we get into Juice, we get into those ones. Those are like, you know, the middle, they're upbeat and having fun. But you do go back and forth with them. But speaking of alter egos, we did have another question we wanted to ask you. Who is your superhero alter ego and why? So pretty much, to answer that question for you, for me, if I had a superhero alter ego, I would have to say it's Wolverine, because he's gone through a lot in life. He's gone through a lot, but this man, you know, he feels invincible. He doesn't really get hurt like that. He always bounces back. I always feel like that to me, because you know me. We've had conversations. I've been through a lot, and I'm happy to be here today. But who would that be for you, Brett?
Damn.
If you know it, I know you struggled on some of the comics sometimes. I'm not
just say I don't really have a whole lot with, you know, I don't know superheroes that well, but I'll definitely go with and you could probably agree. I'll go with Hulk, not because I'm huge, but I go 0 to 100 real quick.
That's true. That's very true. I've been there. So I'll give you that one. Also, you know, that I would say he has if I could elaborate more on that and why I feel like the Hulk could be for you also, is because the Hulk is the Hulk. But Hulk also has Bruce Banner, and I've seen you be where you're at those moments where you're there. The animosity's there, whatever's happening, you're in there in the music, the feelings are strong, but at the end of the day, you're still Brett, and you come back to those positions, and you know, to plug us, you stay humble. You're still that humble person. You don't let stuff get to you or get to your head. So I would say that's a great match. Like I said, we have a couple of more questions to get through for you, and then we'll take our ad break. Mike, feel free to hop in and ask any of them if you want. The next one I would ask, if you could change anything in the industry, what would it be? Like we just talked about getting signed. We just talked about, you know, record labels doing certain things, which there's some horror stories in there. Some lawyers have read those contracts and they're like, I don't even know what this means. But you know, if it were to happen, what would you change?
I mean, in this, I don't even know if this technically counts as part of the actual music industry, but I mean, I guess as far as marketing goes, if I could get rid of bots and like all that kind of dumb stuff, man, I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten conned out of my money before. It happens. Like you think someone's going to offer you something and it'll come up. Do not trust that stupid shit. Don't trust that stuff. That's not gonna work.
Listen, I gotta yell at you. I gotta yell at you right here before I continue and you continue. I remember Brett said, "Yo, Dave, I paid someone to do my album cover," and I looked at this man like, I am a graphic designer, and I will do it for. I'll even do it for free sometimes. You can pay me whenever. I don't care. This man showed me the album work. I said, "What are they doing in paint? Like, what is this?" And yeah, there's some things like that. But you know, if you want to elaborate on that more, if not, we can move on. But yeah, the con thing is really big. Do you want to give us any other stories besides like the album cover?
I mean, yeah, there was the album cover. I mean, and there's been a time where, I mean, and I think a big thing now is like Spotify type of bots. People that are just like, hey, I'll get you on a playlist, and like people don't really get that like what that means. Mm-hmm. And you know, sometimes people are legit, and you could get on a pretty good playlist, cool. But at the same time, like people have to listen to it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So like that's like you don't even factor that in. So it's like you pay all this money, you get on these playlists. Sometimes something happens, sometimes it doesn't, and at that point, it kind of comes down to your music, and it's like. Damn, they just robbed this kid out of his money because they knew he wasn't any good.
Yeah. It happened. Understandable.
Like I've had it happen to me, so like you know what I mean. It's not like oh my stuff's ever hit. I've gotten on playlists and thought my stuff was going to skyrocket, and not a damn thing has happened. I've seen it. So
yeah. There's a lot of that, man. So speaking of Spotify, what right now is your go-to music? Like, what are you jamming? Like, what are you rocking out to lately?
I've been listening to a lot of Moneybagg Yo.
Jesus
I
Christ.
Don't know why, but I just really have. I don't know. I'm really vibing with that with his sound right now.
Okay. I'll take that one. No judgment, but I'll take that one. I understand.
It's not even for like quality or anything like that. I get it turns on. I'm just like, all right, let's go. I can be doing whatever.
Yeah, a lot of those guys do have the melody where it mixes with it. They could be talking about nothing. I'm like. I mean, I'm still jamming out to it, so you know. I mean, I guess speaking of musicians, if there was a musician you could collaborate with, local or big time, who would it be?
Local, I definitely would say. Who have I not done songs with that I want to? I haven't done anything with Joel yet.
That's true. Which is surprising.
I want to, but like I don't really see him that much anymore. But yeah, I mean, I definitely would try to do a track with him, and honestly, his squad. Like I really do like some of their music. Tommy makes music now, and then I say big time. I think I would try to make a track. I mean, I think I'd like to get in my bag where I'd like to get in my bag and like really get on a track with J. Cole. And you already know, Dave. Like I really, J. Cole, the man. I give him that. I don't know if I can hang with him lyrically.
I was about to say that's. I think you could.
The vibes, I definitely think it come up with a banger.
I mean, I honestly think you could. It's all about, and I've said this before. You're never gonna learn nothing. Like say I'm playing a guy who plays basketball sometimes on a Sunday. Like he's all right. I whoop his behind all the time. I'm not really learning nothing because I'm always beating him. Say I go up against an NBA star, you're going to learn stuff as you go. You know what I mean? You're going to learn how to defend. You're going to take things from him and everything else like that. It's all about the company you keep in with yourself. So I think you can hang. I think you can get in there. So don't sell yourself too short. You know what I mean? So
didn't J. Cole just buy a bike and just like sold his car or something?
Yeah, he just rides around New York.
Yeah, he was like, I don't need a car anymore. I'm just going to ride a bike.
Yep.
I respect that.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
I would say I'm gonna leave it at this. Mike, do you have another question for Brett at all? Or
no, I think we do have some listener questions that we will hit you with after this next short break. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, everybody, we'll be right back with Brett.
And cut it.
Cool.
All right, that was a good section. Now we're getting into the fun stuff. This is gonna be funny. Oh man, yeah, this man got scammed off of an album cover.
It happened. It happened.
Hot. I said, "Hit me up." What are you doing?
It came back fucked up. I was really upset. Nah, I just got to fix it. He was like $60. I was like, nah, bro.
Listen, I